everyone, it's Ben back again, and this time the Habs beat the Washington Capitals 2-1 in the second half of a back-to-back. And I didn't see a lot of the game because I went to a friend's house for a Christmas party, but what I did see was pretty good, and what I read about that happened after sounded pretty good as well, so let's dive right into it. Starting in the first, Habs came out to an extremely sluggish start, just like the night before, and it looked like, oh boy, we're going to have to do this all over again. Washington was just all over the Habs in the early goings of the first period, probably for the first solid 5 to 10 minutes. Then they finally woke up and started applying some pressure, eventually with Arturi Lehkonen getting the wraparound goal to put the Habs up 1-0. Is it just me? We saw Torrey Mitchell get a wraparound goal the other day, then we saw Lehkonen get a wraparound today. This is the most wraparound goals I've seen in such a short time in a long time. Maybe that's just me, but it's just something I noticed. So the Habs come out of the first up 1-0, and then they continue their pretty good offensive play going into the second without shooting Washington 14-8 in the second. But they also kind of start to get into some penalty trouble. Nicholas Backstrom gets a goal for Washington on a power play to tie up the game 1-1. And Nathan Beaulieu was not too happy coming out of the box after we got scored on, and he got himself into some more trouble. Got a 10-minute misconduct because he started chirping the refs. So that wasn't really what you want. But then, with about 3.5 minutes left in the second, Petrie capitalizes on a beauty of a pass by Pacioretty to put the Habs up 2-1, score which they would hold for the rest of the game. They basically just did a really good job shutting down Washington's offense in the third period. Held them to 5 shots in the third period and kept the game 2-1. And the Habs got the win, and it was Carey Price's 250th win of his career. I think he's one of 4 goalies now for the Canadiens who have ever done that. So that was pretty cool. And it was one great response to the game the night before, because holy hell did they hang Carey Price out to dry the night before. But this really kind of was a statement game for the Habs. After that terrible game against San Jose, they needed to respond. And they did so after losing first Andrew Ghetto to injury the night before against San Jose. And then in the game last night, they lose Nathan Beaulieu for 10 minutes in the middle of the game. It looked like Weber was going to be hurt, and he was gone for about 10 minutes or so in the middle of the game. He ended up coming back, but he was not there for a lot of it. And then later on in the game, Andrei Markov got hurt and had to go out. So they managed to pull off a win against one of the league's better teams with not all that much personnel help. So it was just a really good statement game for the Habs to get after having such a terrible effort the night before. The one thing I'm kind of worried about, I don't know how long Markov's going to be out, because I think he's a lot more important to the Habs blue line than a lot of people give him credit for. He's having a bit of a resurgence this year, what with his points, but I think he's just a lot more of a consistent player out there than a lot of people give him credit for, just because he's not as fast as he once was, but he's still one of the smartest players on the Canadiens roster. So it'll be interesting to see how they deal with Markov being out, with our D-core being pretty slim as it was. Next up is Anaheim on Tuesday, and then I'm going to be going to the game against Minnesota on Thursday, so hopefully we can get some wins out of those games back at home. But until then, I'll see you guys next time.